Earlier in the show, I showed you some of the things the UK was doing. Want to take a guess at which Western government is looking to copy what they're doing? Documents were leaked last week that show the Biden administration was getting detailed presentations from the UK government on how to censor their own people. A meeting was attended by the Biden White House, the National Security Council, and the Office of Director of National Intelligence, the CIA, FBI, the Department of State, Treasury, Defense, Homeland Security, HHS, USAID, and multiple high-ranking officers in the Army, Navy, and Air Force. It seems kind of like an important meeting, one we should have heard about, and it seems like they're serious. The UN's will is getting done regardless of how the vote goes in the next couple of weeks. It is already happening, and our own government is learning how. But it goes much further. The UN has proposed something called the 30 by 30 agenda. You really need to read up. We are 6 years away from this. On this document as well, in essence, the globalists of the world have a plan to seize 30% of all land on planet Earth and all water. The words private property will not matter. They do not matter to these people. But as ludicrous as that sounds, you need to learn about this because it is spreading everywhere. The European Union is implementing it as we speak. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is happening now. California, by the way, is using the exact same language. And Joe Biden's first salvo of executive orders mentions conserving 30% of our lands and waters by 2030. Now, you might be wondering, what's with the arbitrary number of 30%? How would they know that's beneficial to the planet? Well, this isn't about conservation. It's about taking. Now the question is, how do you do that in the United States? Well, you do it through something called the Sustains Act, which was signed into law as part of the Consolidated Appropriations Act last year. You know, that omnibus that we always have to rush through? It allows the government to receive private funds to advance conservation programs. Kind of sounds like the seizing of American assets, even privately owned, just became one of the biggest public-private partnerships in human history. The Sustains Act looks to assign environmental services that are provided on privately owned land. Now, what are environmental services? Well, they could assign whatever they want from your land. Does your property contribute to pollination? Photosynthesis? Does your property have a lot of trees so it affects the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, other health type benefits? It's all being monetized through a relationship between private investors like Bill Gates and the government. And it all occurs without the landowner. This is already U.S. law. This is the seizing of America's real assets without the consent of the people that actually own the land. And it's all being done in line with the goals of the international organization like the United Nations 30 by 30. Did you vote for it? Were you ever explained what this was? Did anybody ask for your opinion? Of course not. You hired representatives. And according to the World Economic Forum, that was your part. So now the representatives take it from here. They don't have to ask you anymore. A lot of these